Welcome to Peace, Love, Learn. This channel is filled with social and emotional learning content for children between the ages of 2 and 10. Before we get started, take a moment to click the subscribe button to keep the free content coming your way. In today's Read Aloud, we meet a boy named Santiago. He has recently moved to a new school and he's having a hard time adjusting. He feels sad, but he's afraid to share how he feels with his friends and family. Will Santiago learn how to express his sadness so that he can better cope with this big feeling? Let's read to find out. Join me for today's Read Aloud, Santiago's Sadness, Making Room for All Emotions by Gabi Garcia. Santiago walked to school slowly. He didn't feel awesome. He tried to crack a smile, but he didn't feel like smiling. Ever since his family moved, he didn't feel like doing much. On the playground, Santiago watched others play. He didn't feel like playing. Is there something wrong with me? He asked himself. In the cafeteria, Lucia, who was in Santiago's class, smiled shyly and waved at him. Santiago sighed and looked down. One day, as Santiago sat staring at his food, he was startled by a timid voice. It was Lucia. "Hi, can I sit here?" "Sure," Santiago answered. They both sat quietly and picked at their food until lunchtime ended. The next day, Santiago was relieved when Lucia sat with him again. "How's it going?" Lucia asked. "Fine," Santiago replied. "Oh," said Lucia, "you don't look like you feel fine." "I don't?" "Not really." "Aren't we just supposed to look at the bright side anyway?" Santiago asked, nodding towards the poster on the wall. "My grandpa always tells me that paying attention to the dark clouds helps us appreciate the sunshine." Santiago was unsure what would happen if he paid attention to the dark clouds. He didn't know if he could handle it. Maybe I should say something, Santiago wondered before deciding against it. Moving isn't a big deal anyway, he told himself. At recess, Santiago looked up and saw Lucia sitting by herself too. This time, when she waved, Santiago waved back, and she came and sat next to him. "How's it going?" Lucia asked again. "Everything is different here," Santiago said. "I miss my old life. Do you ever miss anything?" Lucia nodded. "I miss having only one house to go to. I miss my parents being together. When my parents first got divorced, I cried every night. My heart felt heavy with sadness." "My sadness feels heavy sometimes too, and empty at other times." It was the first time Santiago had talked about what he felt. "It's okay to feel sad," Lucia said. "Grandpa reminds me that making room for all our feelings is a way to be kind to ourselves." Santiago wondered what it meant to make room for his sadness. Everyone was so busy with the move that Santiago hadn't wanted to bother them with his feelings. It was like he'd tried to pack his sadness away in a box, but it kept spilling out. "Moving has been really hard for me," Santiago finally admitted to himself. His lip quivered. Slowly, Santiago began to unpack his sadness, a little bit each day, by giving it his attention. He took a deep breath and felt the sadness in his body. When he remembered Liam, his best friend, Santiago felt the lump in his throat. They used to do everything together. Santiago wrote about it and didn't feel as lonely. Thinking about his abuelo, who didn't live down the street anymore, Santiago noticed the heaviness in his heart. He made art about it and felt lighter. Finally, Santiago got the courage to talk about it. A wave of sadness flowed through his body, and tears quickly followed. He felt relief wash over him. After a while, Santiago realized that his sadness wasn't around as often. His body softened. He felt hopeful. Slowly, Santiago began to feel more like himself, and things did become brighter. He found ways to connect to his old life and settle into his new one. Santiago still feels sad sometimes when he misses the way things were, but he doesn't pack away his feelings anymore. He remembers to be kind to himself and makes room for his sadness. He pays attention to it, expresses it, and finds the support he needs. Santiago knows the dark clouds will be followed by sunshine again. It's okay to feel sadness. Sadness isn't good or bad. It's an emotion like any other. It's there to let you know that you are upset or hurt about something you've lost. You may feel sad about many different things, such as losing a beloved item or an opportunity to do something. You can feel sad about the loss of a loved one, either due to death or a move. Sometimes, such as when parents divorce, you experience the loss of the way things were. Sadness can give you time to pause, think, and get a better understanding of whatever made you feel sad. There are no wrong reasons to feel sad. Make room for sadness. Sadness can be difficult to experience, so you might pack it away and pretend you don't feel it, or tell yourself that you shouldn't feel this way. There are times when it may not feel safe to show that you're sad, and that's okay. But ignoring sadness doesn't make it go away, and judging yourself for feeling sad can make you feel worse. Instead, you can make room for your sadness by paying attention to it. How does sadness show up in your thoughts? If your sadness could talk, what would it say? Where in your body do you notice sadness? Do you know why you feel sad? It's okay if you don't. Find comfort. Sadness lets you know that you need some form of support. When you're feeling sad or thinking sad thoughts, what would feel comforting to you? Sharing your emotions with others can make them much easier to handle. Do you need to talk to someone you trust or spend time with a loved one or a furry friend? Do you need to cry? Writing, making art, spending time outdoors, or moving your body are a few other things you can try. Experience the sunshine when you're ready. Sadness has its own time. It can't be rushed, but it also doesn't stay around forever. When you learn to express your sadness, you may notice that it starts to fade, and you'll begin to feel other emotions. Pay attention to them too. Making room for all your feelings is a way of being kind to yourself. Do you have this book at home or at school? If not, click the link in the description to purchase this wonderful book. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to keep the free content coming your way. Much love and toodaloo until next time.